Hi, my name is Farhan and today I'm going to show you how to create a business idea from nothing. If you're struggling to come up with a plan to do something rather than sitting all day in your home, then you have come to the right place. This of course does not mean that at the end of the video you're going to be with an idea that's worth $10 million, but it's the first step to plan constructively. Often, once an idea settles in our mind, it becomes so tempting that we don't think critically if it will be sustainable in the future. This video will tell you the right questions you need to ask yourself before putting any money into a thought in your brain. There are 5 key steps to formulate an idea. Probably you already have a product or service in your mind now. For those who are clueless or just filled with non-stop ideas, here's a start. First, you have to choose a sector. The whole economy is divided into 3 major categories, namely the primary sector, secondary, and the tertiary. The primary is the one where most of the agricultural and mining sector lies. Let's consider the 99 cents burger in McDonald's. The meat in the burger first has to be farmed from cows. This comes from the primary sector. It has to be further processed and packaged into frozen containers for distribution. This is hence the secondary sector. The guy with a hat smiling at you and serving you the hot chili burger in the restaurant will fall in the tertiary sector. So you first have to categorize what sector you know best and you think will yield maximum returns. There is a general tendency for most people to choose the tertiary sector as it is vast and diverse. There are basically 4 things you can do. Number 1 is manufacture from raw materials. Number 2 is distribute it to markets. Number 3 is provide services, either to facilitate the processes above or independently create new ones like healthcare or advertising. Number 4 is all of the above. Now let us move on to the first step. Step 1 is looking for the right product with the right demand. There are many types of demand in the market. Categorizing will help you choose clearly if you want to do any of those 4 things mentioned just earlier. For example, if you have an idea to make available a product which doesn't exist in the market, either by importing or by complete innovation through technology, then see what type of its demand falls into. Realizing if a product has high pent-up demand will determine its cost and hence will determine if investors are willing to invest with you. It also means it's an ideal choice for small businesses as it involves minimum risk. If the demand is artificially created through new legislation like compulsory digitization of certain transactions in a country, this will lead to creation of many ancillary industries trying to secure digital transactions. You are perhaps familiar about websites selling SSL certificates now. If it has an industrial demand, for example, suppliers of factory machine spare parts, then you have to consider that you will have a single large client and your whole business will depend on them. Any competition here will have significant impacts on your profits. This implies for goods with induced demands too, like the demands for condensed milk is induced by demand for tea, which is a derived demand. So knowing the type of your product, you will have many implications on your business strategy in long term as well as in short term. The best place to start choosing what product you want to manufacture or market is your own room. Check your surrounding and look at the computer table in the corner or look above the ceiling. You will see lots of different items and each item has been manufactured from a chain of industries working together to make that finished good. See if you find a way to facilitate its production. Maybe you know there is a bottleneck and you have the resources to solve them. Facebook became a reality when Mark saw an opportunity to connect people through the new technology by building a website where people can tell their everyday stories. Similarly, Google became a multi-billion-dollar business when Larry and Sergey found out that there was a need or demand to build a catalog of all the websites for easier accessibility. Why don't you find one yourself? Step 2. Step 2 is to see if your idea is feasible in the long term or not. Ask these questions to determine if it is attainable. Have you defined your goals? Are they realistic and attainable? If so, what is the time limit of accomplishing them? How much are you willing to invest? What is your source of capital? Is it sustainable? Are there existing technology and capable workforce? Are the resources required accessible? What are the risks associated with each goal? How to minimize those risks, and if incurred, how to manage them? Do you have a workflow? Do you know how the production, distribution, marketing and selling works? Do you know how the people in each category works and delegates their responsibilities? Have you pointed out the bottlenecks of implementing your goals and devised ways of solving them? What are the short-term and long-term problems? Knowing these answers is key to being practicable, and you'll be better prepared to face problems. Step 3. Step 3 is what I call product profiling. A wise seller would sell something he would buy himself if given. If you want to sell something, you must be passionate about your own product. If you're unsure about your own product, how do you expect others to believe in you? So be truthful to yourself. So ask, have you used it yourself or are you willing to? How much people know about it? This is important as it will determine how much you will have to invest in advertising and market research. Does it add any social value? If you want to market a product which does not add anything to society as a whole, it is less likely to be successful. Statistics show that goods which have positive benefits, like health benefits, financial benefits, psychosocial benefits, tend to have a good outcome. How will it impact their lives? If it significantly changes their lives for good and people like it, then it will determine what price you might charge initially. Are there any illegal or environmental aspects? Some goods have been produced when certain legislation has been passed on, like the demand for fluorescent light bulbs, soared up after governments passed laws that ban tungsten bulbs used in domestic homes in some countries to reduce their carbon footprint. The next question is it compatible with the norms and culture of your target audience? You have to take into account if the new technology you used is acceptable in the society you will market it in. In many African nations, for example, the use of condoms is considered not acceptable and against the Bible. So take into consideration any religious or cultural conflicts it might create. Next is accessibility to audience. Ease of use. This depends on what product you are manufacturing. Suppose you choose to import the Siemens MRI scanners. It is justified that it is bound to be used by professionals where the audience is appropriate. But in other instances, like many smartphone operating systems like the Windows Phone, fail to gain market share due to its lack of accessibility to users. Most probably, you're either an iPhone user or an Android user, right? Durability of product. If your product is not durable enough, you might not be able to build a good repute in the market. Also, you have to take into consideration of after-sales service. This will incur cost, however. This is relevant for the electronic industry where you have to provide warranty services. Next step is collaboration. This means working with others to do a task and to achieve shared goals. It is a recursive process where two or more people or organizations work together to realize shared goals. You might want to ask these questions to yourself when sharing your ideas and thinking of working with them. As you know, you can't work alone. There are so many responsibilities. As your business propagates further, you will try to delegate and transfer some of your responsibilities to your trusted ones. So you have to find new people. But before finding them, do you consider them trustworthy? Are they passionate enough? Can you lead and will they follow you? Will they be with you in your bad times? Are they qualified to do the job? Can you afford their skills? Lastly, for every business, there should be an exit strategy or a backup plan should everything else fails. Examples include initial public offering or merging with another big company. The first question is very important here. A firm will choose to implement a shutdown of production when the revenue received from the sales of the good or services produced cannot even cover the variable costs of production. In that situation, the firm will experience a higher loss when it produces compared to not producing at all. The goal of a firm is to maximize profits or minimize losses. The firms can achieve this goal by following two rules. First, the firm should operate, if at all, at the level of output where marginal revenue equals marginal cost. Second, the firm should shut down rather than operate if it can reduce losses by doing so. The second question here is, how will you know a business is going to reach shutdown point soon? Well, there are many concepts you can follow. For example, one sign is that you haven't spoken to a potential customer in over 1 month. You should constantly be talking to potential and new customers even as the CEO. If this hasn't happened, it either means that your company does not have what it takes to compete in the market, or your employees or you as a boss, of course, are not pulling their weight. Either way, this is a huge problem, and it means your company is on its way to failing unless you can find a lot of money in short amount of time to make serious changes. Other signs include not paying bills on time, nobody is talking about your business, your employee turnover rate is high, your employees are lacking motivation, or you yourself are. Your budget doesn't allow you to hire someone new if one leaves, and many more. Secondly, have you considered what will be your next move? Suppose if your livelihood solely depends on this business, do you have a backup plan? Like, for example, a source of personal finance in troubled times. We have seen many people going bankrupt in just a few days after selling their businesses. So do you want to be like them? The whole video is just a general concept and does not claim to consolidate all business concepts. Hopefully, if you have constructively thought each and every point mentioned here, have solved the answers and went beyond, you successfully have formulated a sustainable business idea. Congratulations. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe for more and comment if any mistakes are done. Any constructive criticism will be welcomed. Thank you. This is Farhan signing off.